With their messages of what shoes to buy, which radio station to listen to, and where to spend your money, billboards are meant to get your attention. This one may not be as cut and dry, but it too has a message of its own.
The message is ironic, and it's sarcastic, and it's clever.
Rob Moore is from Southeast Wisconsin Free Thinkers, a local atheist organization that partially funded this billboard on 14th and St. Paul.
Atheist simply means a lack in a belief of any supreme being, no supernatural deity.
It reads, quote, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas this year is to skip church. I'm too old for fairy tales."
All right, folks, that is so unfortunate, but the war on Christmas officially has begun. Joining us now, our friend Bill Donohue, Newsmax contributor, president of the Catholic League. All right, why can't the people who demand tolerance, like in this case atheists, and again, it's not all atheists, it's the radical group leader atheists, why can't they just leave other people like Christians who want to celebrate Christmas alone?
Well, you know, the funny thing is about it, they'll say they're against all religions. That's not true. You'll never see them taking on Muslims, ever, ever, ever. And they like to go after Christians at Christmas time, okay? Now, most of the time, they have a message which is basically offensive. Sometimes it's not too offensive, like this year. It's more silly than it is anything else. But they're always against something. I mean, I don't know what it'd be like to get up in the morning and look myself in the mirror and say, what am I going to be against today? I'm in favor of defending the right of the Catholic Church to have its voice heard respectfully. I don't care if people disagree. Do so respectfully. But we have to put up with this kind of taunting that goes on.
Right.
But we have a little answer for them
Yes,
this year.
yes. Now let's put up a billboard that has just gone up in Los Angeles.
That's correct.
From the Catholic League. Very clever. There it is. Not all Christian. Well, you read it. Go ahead.
Okay. Not all Christian haters are equal. Abroad we're beheaded, at home we're bashed. The differences are profound, so are the similarities. Have a peaceful and joyous Christmas, Catholic League.
Catholic League. That is great. And where in LA is that?
In Pico Boulevard, just outside of Hollywood. It's huge, it's illuminated, it's right in the heavy traffic area. We made sure to get our point across right through December the 28th. And look, the point is trying to make a point and then taking it back, all right? I am obviously not going to equate people who bash us in radio and television, in the media in general, the entertainment industry, with people who are going to behead us.
Right.
But you know, Christians, Catholics in particular, are fed up with being bashed with impunity. And what is this all about? It's all about hate speech. And I'm just asking to get a little bit of a reality check. I know there's a big difference between people who act violently and those who act who act without violence.
Right.
But let me give you a perfect example.
What do you think some of these people who express such disdain for Christians and Catholics in particular in this country would, if they could, go further?
Well, there's no question about it. They would turn us into Cuba. As a matter of fact, Cuba, I think, has more rights now. The Cubans in Miami are building a Catholic church there, which I don't think you can get away with that in many parts of this country. I'll give you an example of what I mean by Hollywood. I'm talking about Comedy Central. Tosh, this show that was on just a week ago. And he said that this was asked for by the executives at Comedy Central to thrash Jesus. I don't even describe what they use.
Right.
I can use words, I think, like feces and semen.
Yeah.
This is in reference to baby Jesus, and to put him through a meat grinder. And they said this is what they wanted at Comedy Central. Now, why would you intentionally insult people at Christmas time, unless there's something wrong with you or they're evil?
Well, what is it about Christianity that is viewed as and acted upon as fair game?
I think what it is that we prize the virtue of restraint. We understand the cardinal virtue of temperance. They believe that freedom is licensed to do whatever you want. That's why they're, quote, non-judgmental. They made a judgment when they made themselves non-judgmental. They believe in no holds barred. They don't like the three dreaded words in the English language we got from our Jewish friends, thou shalt not. They don't want to be told anything, which is why they die prematurely. They're unhappy. That's why we have a disproportionate number of agnostics and atheists in the asylum. All of this is true. Now, look, they've got some serious problems. I'm talking here about the militants. I'm not talking about your average atheist or agnostic.
Right.
They're not more of a threat than a lame Catholic is. But I am talking about the organized group. It's only a small percentage of them, but every year they have to try and do something to stick it to us. And like American atheists, when do they have their annual convention every year? On Good Friday.
And you say,
see, it's all directly, it's all the middle finger in the face of Christians.
And you say atheists and agnostics die earlier and because they're unhappy, and there's more of them in mental institutions?
Absolutely. I have a book coming out in March, I'll be back to it, which details all of this stuff in great, great detail. You take a look at people who are secularist and you compare them to people of faith, there's a huge difference when it comes to health and happiness, mental health, physical health, and degree of happiness. Now, look, they got to work it out. Fine. You know, I'll help pay for the therapy. Just keep your hands, your mitts off the Catholics during Christmas.
I love this guy. I do. And that's the great Bill Donohue, ladies and gentlemen. Great seeing you. Merry Christmas if we don't speak again, but I have a feeling we will. And, folks, we'll be back with the president and executive director of the New York Civil Rights Coalition, Michael Myers, after the break. But first, the Revolutionary War was effectively over when British General Charles Cornwallis surrendered to the French and American forces in 1781. Let's take a look back. That's a long way back, 1781. Let's take a look back, though, now at this, with this hour's American Moment. Don't go away.
Exactly 6 years and 6 months after the first shots of the Revolutionary War were fired at Lexington and Concord, General George Washington had spent most of the war evading fixed battles against the superior armed British forces. But Providence intervened. Lieutenant General Lord Cornwallis, commander of British forces in Virginia and second in command of all British forces in the American colonies, had moved into a trap, setting up camp in Yorktown. Located on a peninsula and facing the York River, Cornwallis was easily encircled by Continental Army troops on one side and a powerful French fleet on another. On October 6th, Washington's army, now reinforced with 5,500 French troops, were making preparations for their planned assault on the 9th. At the same time, a French fleet, numbering 28 ships of the line, had prevented any chance of a British escape by water. By mid-month, the British were cut off from their supply lines, denying them much-needed food and ammunition. With his forces suffering heavy casualties from Washington's continual artillery bombardment, and knowing his reinforcements were still weeks away, Lord Cornwallis did the unthinkable. He surrendered his forces to what had been called a band of rabble, effectively ending America's war for independence. The date was the 19th of October, 1781. With the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783, the war officially came to a close, with America's sovereignty secured and its territories bordered by Canada to the north, Florida to the south, and the Mississippi River to the east. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.